Picture this. September 20th, 2005. The world wakes up to see Kate Moss, not on a glossy Vogue cover, not in a Chanel ad, but on the front page of every British tabloid. The headline, Cocaine Kate. Grainy photos show her bent over a table rolling a 20-pound note. Within hours, phone calls are flying. By noon, H&M cancels her $4 million deal. By dinner, Burberry withdraws. Chanel doesn't even call. They just issue a cold statement. This is the woman who had redefined beauty, graced over 300 magazine covers, and seemed untouchable. At just 31, her career was declared dead. Yet, Kate Moss never followed the script others wrote for her. She never had. And what looked like the end became one of the most astonishing resurrections in fashion history. But to understand how she survived being publicly destroyed and turned disgrace into triumph, we must first understand where Kate came from.
Long before the headlines, Kate was just a shy teenager from Croydon, a working-class corner of South London. Her father worked for an airline, her mother tended bar, and their divorce left the family fractured. Kate was insecure, convinced she was too plain for the camera. By 12, she stopped posing for family photos altogether. Then came 1988. At JFK Airport, returning from a family holiday, she was spotted by Sarah Duca's Supermodel management. Kate thought it was a joke. She was barely 14, awkward, too short, with secondhand clothes from charity shops. But Sarah saw something others missed: the cheekbones, the attitude, a vulnerability that made her unforgettable. Soon, Kate was shuttling to castings with her mother after long shifts at the pub, sometimes taking 3 buses just to get to a go-see. She faced rejection after rejection. Too short, too young, too fragile. Yet, there was something in her presence that couldn't be faked. She wasn't an Amazon goddess like Naomi Campbell or Cindy Crawford. She was different. And fashion was about to realize it needed different. Kate's true rise began in 1990, far from the glamour of Paris or Milan. The Face magazine, the rebellious Bible of British youth culture, featured her in a raw shoot by photographer Corinne Day. The images were shocking in their simplicity. A 16-year-old Kate stood barefoot on a beach, messy hair tangled by the wind, skin bare of makeup. She didn't look like a supermodel. She looked like a girl, fragile, unpolished, real. The fashion world hesitated. Was this even fashion? Where was the glossy armor of the 80s? But young people saw something revolutionary. For the first time, they recognized themselves. Kate was the girl next door, their friend, their sister, but caught in a light that made her unforgettable. Almost overnight, she became the face of a new era. Anti-glamour as the new glamour. Then came 1992, the call that would cement her in history. Calvin Klein wanted her for obsession. The brand that had turned underwear into art was now asking this waifish British teenager to represent its most sensual campaign. Kate arrived in New York to find herself paired with Mark Wahlberg, all muscles and bravado, under the lens of legendary Herb Ritts. She was barely 18. They wanted her topless, pressed against Wahlberg. Her expression, pure vulnerability, turned into desire. For Kate, the experience was overwhelming. The intensity, the positioning, the demands. It felt wrong. After the shoot, she collapsed in her hotel room, gripped by a panic attack so severe she thought she might die. Yet those photographs changed everything. When the campaign launched, Kate's image was everywhere, on billboards and magazines, on perfume counters across the world. The waif look that critics had mocked was suddenly the standard of beauty. She wasn't just selling jeans or fragrance, she was selling an idea that sexy could be fragile, that beauty could look like imperfection. But behind those iconic images was a teenager learning how to survive an industry that devoured innocence. Every time the cameras flashed, Kate gave the world a new definition of beauty. And every night alone, she battled the shadows that fame brought crashing down on her. The Calvin Klein campaign made Kate Moss a global star, but it also birthed a phrase that would haunt her forever: heroin chic. She never coined it, never embraced it, yet the media stamped it across her face. Pale skin, hollow cheeks, tired eyes. Suddenly, she was accused of embodying a dangerous lifestyle. By the mid-90s, the backlash reached its peak. In 1997, President Bill Clinton himself denounced the fashion industry for glorifying heroin chic. He didn't have to name Kate. Everyone already knew who symbolized the movement. Overnight, the girl from Croydon was transformed into a scapegoat for an entire generation's fears. Kate pushed back in her own quiet way. She insisted she had never touched heroin, that her slender frame was natural. But no matter how many times she said it, the press refused to believe her. The label stuck like glue. She became Heroin Kate, a walking controversy blamed for corrupting youth simply by existing in her own skin. Fashion's hypocrisy stung most. Publicly, magazines and designers claimed they were moving toward healthier images. Privately, they couldn't get enough of her. Her look sold, scandal sold, and Kate Moss, frail, mysterious, provocative, sold better than anyone. She realized the truth. The world would invent its own version of her story, whether she liked it or not. So she stopped explaining. No interviews, no defenses, no wasted words. The silence only made her more magnetic. By the late 90s, Kate had not only survived the heroin chic storm, she had become untouchable, the ultimate paradox: condemned and desired, fragile and powerful. But just when it seemed she had mastered the art of survival, a far greater scandal waited in the shadows, one that would push her closer to destruction than ever before.
September 2005. In a West London recording studio, Kate Moss is surrounded by friends and her boyfriend Pete Doherty, the infamous rocker whose drug-fueled chaos often eclipsed his music. Someone pulls out cocaine. For Kate, it wasn't unusual. The fashion and music worlds of the early 2000s thrived on excess. She leaned over, rolled a 20-pound note, and in less than a minute took 5 lines. What she didn't see was the camera phone capturing it all. Within 5 days, those blurry seconds were splashed across the Daily Mirror. The headline screamed, "Cocaine Kate." By sunrise, her phone never stopped ringing. By noon, H&M announced they were severing her $4 million contract. Burberry followed. Chanel refused to even speak to her. In just 48 hours, one of the most photographed women in the world became untouchable. The tabloids smelled blood. Paparazzi camped outside her house, chasing her 3-year-old daughter to school. Commentators asked if she was fit to be a mother. Some whispered that social services might take her child away. It wasn't just her career on the line, it was her life. Kate released a short, controlled statement. "I take full responsibility for my actions. I am addressing these personal issues." Corporate speak for one thing: rehab. She boarded a plane to Arizona and checked into the Meadows, a place known for breaking down celebrities and building them back up. Behind the tabloid frenzy, she confronted the truth she had been avoiding for years: the anxiety that began at 17, the exhaustion of decades in the spotlight, the crushing weight of being Kate Moss. Back in London, something remarkable happened. Alexander McQueen, her longtime friend, closed his Runway show wearing a t-shirt emblazoned with the words, "We love you, Kate." It was more than loyalty. It was defiance, a declaration that art came before scandal. When Kate emerged from rehab, the industry's reaction shocked everyone. Instead of exile, there was demand. Designers and magazines whispered behind closed doors, "Is she available? When can she shoot?" By spring 2006, she signed not 1, not 2, but 18 contracts. French Vogue dedicated an entire issue to her, with the cover line, "Scandalous Beauty."
The very scandal that should have ended her career had made her more iconic than ever.
By 2007, Kate Moss had done the impossible. She turned disgrace into dominance. 30 million pounds in contracts, Model of the Year at the British Fashion Awards, and a Topshop collaboration that sold out in hours. She became not just a model, but a mogul, launching perfumes, collaborating with brands, even starting her own talent agency. But the Kate who emerged was different. The party girl who once stumbled from dawn to dusk nights was gone. In her place stood a quieter, more guarded woman. She had learned the industry didn't forgive, it profited, and she would no longer give it more than she had to. Today, her daughter Leela Grace steps onto magazine covers, carrying the Moss name into a new generation. Kate remains an icon, studied by fashion historians, remembered as the girl who redefined beauty, endured scandal, and turned survival into art. She never broke. She bent, transformed, and endured. Yet the greatest irony is this: to remain Kate Moss, she had to sacrifice the parts of herself that made her wild, untamed, and free. The real scandal isn't the drugs or the headlines. It's that survival demanded she stop being Kate Moss.